On today's episode of the Command Center podcast, we have a Dallas recap. And
Bye, Dallas.
Cardiac Commanders, man. They did it again.
Yes, they do.
I wouldn't have thought it. And then we got an in-depth, very detailed Tampa Bay playoff game preview, which we're excited about. Can Mike Evans be stopped by he who must not be named?
Can he?
We'll check that out. And then Jaden Daniels, will he have to do it again? We check that out. And hell yeah.
Hell no.
It all starts right now. Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss. And as always, we are presented by Cognier Technologies. Secure today, shape tomorrow. And boys,
Playoff show.
Playoff show.
Playoff show.
We're in the dance, baby. Let's go. But before we start talking about Tampa Bay, which is going to be a big part of this show, we're going to have a quick, very tight review of the Dallas Cowboy game. Important game because it affected seeding, but you know what? We're in the playoffs already. Let's just start with high-level thoughts from both you guys. We'll start with Tana and then get moving.
I mean, honestly, for the first half, man, I was kind of scratching my head, wondering what are we doing?
What's going on? Yeah.
But I
feel
think
that way, right?
Yeah, I think for the most part, man, I had the same feeling I've had the last 3 to 4 weeks, where I knew it was going to be some adjustments made second half. Now I didn't know it was going to be a quarterback change, but I knew the defense was going to come out a little bit stiffer. And to say the least, the defense played phenomenal in the first half because they allowed them to get in the red zone, but they held strong.
Bend, but don't
they didn't
break.
allow them to score. So, yeah, man, it's just one of those things. It seemed like this has been our MO, for the last few weeks. But like they said, you can call it luck or you can call it that we just know how to win when it's time to win.
Yeah.
And we did just that.
I had fun watching the game, watching us put them over our lap. I just enjoyed it. It was one of them things, and I got to give props to the Cowboys. The one thing they never did this whole year, they never gave up.
Yeah.
And no matter who got hurt on their team, to me, Trey Lance played well enough
I was
to win.
surprised by that, actually. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because he was the third pick overall, but he looked.
Justin Fields.
And the funny thing about it is, can y'all believe that's his fifth start? How could you give up?
It's him and Anthony Richardson. I'm always like, man, they've played so
little football that I don't really know what I got. Like, if I'm Dallas, I want to re-sign this kid and move forward with him. Yeah. And I thought Michael Parsons and them, they came off the bus ready to rush the passer.
Dude, he's impressive, man.
And that's why I always tell people, man, divisional games, I don't care what your record is.
Yeah.
They are not finna sit down and just let you come in there and beat them up. So I thought it was a game that we earned it. And I'm going to tell you what really just did it for me. The storybook ending to a 12-season win. Only thing I needed Terry McLaurin to do after he caught that ball was just run to the locker room. Like, that was a walk-off touchdown. It encapsulates what this whole season has been about. All right? We're gonna grind it out. We're going to get to that last play. And I think that's the picture of the year. Yeah. Terry catching that ball. Unbelievable year, fellas. Thank y'all for taking us on this ride.
No doubt.
It's been great.
No doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Tanny, you talked about second half adjustments, but also think like the offense just kind of, dudes made plays offensively in the second half. Like I think about Ozzie making that tough over-the-shoulder catch. Terry had probably 3 of the best catches I've seen. He had that slant, which was down and away, kind of fell back and caught it. That dig where he kind of had to come back to the ball, and then obviously the touchdown. So dudes making plays for Marcus, which is really impressive. And then I'm glad you brought up Micah Parsons, man. Yeah. Is there a player in the NFL that wins as quickly?
I haven't seen a pass rush win like that.
Lawrence Taylor all over again. He LT. Like and I didn't watch enough of LT growing up, but the highlights just shows like the most dominant at his position. Like, bro, it's not a play that he's not causing havoc. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when I saw them come up there, that first couple of plays, like when we got a sack, the first play of the game, I'm walking to the suite like, bro, I know we can just get a sack. And the third, I think it was third down, so I stopped by TV before I got to the suite, and I'm watching. They had the entire defense on the line, just sitting up there ready to, the ears pierced back. So I'm like, bro, it's going to be one of those kind of games.
First of all, for him to be a legit pass rusher the way he is, when you think about pass rush, the first thing coming to your mind, edge. They putting him in the A gap, saying, go whoop a center. Like this. This is a different cat, man. I have to give him his prop. He's dominant at the things he's asked to do.
I was questioning about just him when it comes to the things he do off the field with all the podcast stuff. And it's actually, because you don't see too many guys of his caliber that vocal. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a lot of guys. Aaron Donald dominated every year in, year out. You didn't hear a peep from him. And now you get a guy that's actually dominant in his own right. I'm talking about, to say the least, and he's going to speak on it. He's going to speak on who he thinks the favorite, how he feel about his coach, about every topic. This cat has something to say about it. But the way he plays the game, let him do what he do.
I ain't gonna say, I like what he said on his podcast after the game. He was like, hey, that JD5 is the truth. Then he said, we can't get mad. They got their lick back. They went out there and they took the game. So sometimes it's just what it is. Listen, if that's all I got to worry about for him, I would love to have him in a Commander's jersey. That's all I got to worry about.
Yeah, man. I do a lot of eval on pass rushers, do reports and stuff. Yeah. And I don't think there's a person in the NFL who can win as quickly, as consistently. And I think it's so disruptive. And another thing, just talking about, the second half obviously was great for Marcus Mariota. The offense in the first half, I also thought was just not quite on the same page. A lot of incomplete passes, penalties, sacks, negative plays, and it was nice to see them kind of figure it out. And that was great to see. And then let's hit the defense real quick. Defensively, kind of a funny day because I actually thought on the whole pretty good. Probably 3 or 4 negatives that really stick out to you. And then obviously the red zone stuff was great. So I don't know, how do you guys feel about that?
No, the red zone was great.
But
I didn't think we played the run very well. That bothered me, that Dowdle. Because to me, when I looked at his yards at the end of the game, I was like, oh, that's all he had? Because I thought he was at 100+ yards. So that's one thing that we're going to have to fix moving into the playoffs is making people earn the run game.
I'm also interested in seeing how they do things up front, because I know that we got, Jonathan Allen back. And I feel like that youth that we had from Johnny Newton, man, it just was a difference.
And Sheldon Day. Sheldon Day don't get a lot of love. He make plays.
And when I saw those guys get their little sprinkles here and there throughout the season when, Jay Allen was healthy, it was a different type of, play down there. And to me, I'm still questioning this, because we questioned this some years ago. Do Jay Allen and Payne play well together? You know what I mean? And so it's because sometimes to me, I feel like Jay Allen gets a lot of double teams at times. Because I saw a couple of times they were double teaming, and I saw he had to get some win. I mean, they had some drives.
First game back.
They had some drives. But I will say this also. Out of all the games, because we know this is going to happen. You're a DB, you know how this goes. Those wasn't penalties on St. Juice.
Listen,
Dude, the
second one was perfect. Like how
what else can I do?
What can you do as far as the situation where he was at? He put his head back, but I just feel like he's created this kind of thing with himself by having so many situations in that.
They waiting to pull the flag.
They waiting to see 25 in that spot. So
you right about the St. Juice.
That was really frustrating. I felt bad for St. Juice because
because I saw him you can tell it was demoralizing.
Just a tremendous play, really. Just a tremendous. He played it perfect. And again, that's the thing about him is he does that where he's in good phase, he's playing with good position, and it just never quite works out for him.
It's about finishing. And Tanner is right. Once that dot is on you, and they all right, he's handsy. All right. They ain't gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, and he didn't get the benefit of the doubt on that pass. And I understand how the fans were. I could hear fans all over America. Not again. I just know it because I've been in that spot. I have been that defensive back. But he's a guy we gonna need in this playoff. So we need his confidence to be there. And I know how it feels to get that letter Monday. That wasn't a penalty. It's too late. It's too late.
And not only that, it's just a simple fact for being the guy that it was called against, knowing what you've been going through all season long, man. That's what hurts guys, because you got to be tough-skinned in this league and just period, and this guy has went through, turmoil when it comes to just those situations.
Just calls, period.
So I'm just glad though that we can actually speak on it and show the good about it, because I feel like if anybody out there that that understands how critical we've been all year long with that position and just guys in general, man, to me that was perfect, and you could tell he's getting coached up. Somebody's taught him, got in his ear and told him how to play it a lot better.
Yeah, it was really great. It was great to see. It's too bad that it was a penalty. And again, back on the run game stuff, it's just it's frustrating to watch the L22 because it's really just like
one gap,
one guy misfitting, one guy playing
the
back,
whole team,
one guy spilling it the wrong way,
taking it on with the wrong shoulder.
And again, there was no I think the longest run of the day was like 13 yards or something like that. But it just adds up.
Just 5, 6, 7 yards.
And it just shows you kind of how when the offensive line's playing well and the back's kind of making them better, it can lead to one of those days. It's funny because it wasn't bad, but it wasn't
good.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
But tell me this, because I know you watch tons of it, man. I didn't get a chance to ask that much post game. What are you seeing from our run game? And I know a lot of the one of the big reasons is not having Biadasz there.
Yes.
He's a integral, part of that whole scheme. But just with the times, whether he was there or not, what's been our handicap right now?
So yeah, let's just talk through it. Again, we could probably do a whole show on this. So I'll try to keep it nice and tight. The main thing is, I think when you look at Dallas, just check out what they did yesterday. They had 78 plays, so basically 80 plays. So they're getting first downs, they're finding explosives, they're efficient on first and second down, and it allows you to run the ball more. You know what I'm saying? And so we only had 18 attempts yesterday, because of the situation of the game, right? And think about it, 3 or 4 of those are quarterback runs. So in terms of backs getting carries, it's not very high because we can't. Hey, we've talked about this before too.
The drive,
you got to sustain, maintain the drive. We don't do that. So when you look at the run game, you say there's times where B-Rob's not trusting it.
Yeah.
There's time where the offensive line's not targeted correctly. There's times where they're not winning one-on-ones. And when you compare that to Dallas, I felt like Dallas was just more consistent with the targets, more consistent with the back trusting it, but to what you just said there, Tana, they had more bites at the apple.
Yeah.
And when you look at how effective we've been in the rushing game over the course of the season, B-Rob's getting 20 opportunities.
Yeah.
But we're running 70 plays.
Yeah, but we also got the other odd 10 runs from quarterbacks and reverses and stuff like that.
And it really comes down to just holding the football, possessing it. Because again, like the first run of the game, I think is a perfect example of this. Dallas runs a little line stunt, right? And the run is a little mistargeted, right? They're not going to the right guy. The combinations aren't going to the right guy. And as a result, it ends up being a gain of none. So on the sideline, when I'm walking back and forth, I see the O-line coach being like, okay, we're going to take it here. So if we get to run that run again, it's probably going to be a gash. But we never get back to that run because we had to punt. And we had a bunch of 3 and outs in the first half. So I think it's a combination of everything. I do think having Biadasz back will really, and I don't think Dieter played poorly, but again, there's a reason he's not.
I would say it's a difference in the starter and a guy in a backup.
And I was a backup for a lot of my career, and I understand that. And so I have a lot of empathy for Dieter for sure. But getting him back in will help with the targets, will help with some of the one-on-one matchups, because again, like he does some stuff that's really special in terms of blocking nose guards, really fitting combinations, creating space. So getting him back in there, I think, will be big. So in answer to your question, Tana, it's a lot of stuff. And it's
just
frustrating. It's frustrating to watch.
Because we know this when we playing our best ball is when we running the ball and controlling the game. And I think that's what we want to get back to. Now, think about it. The games that we ran and controlled the ball, blowouts. Games that we didn't, we win in the last play of the game. But what I do like, they finding ways to win. They don't care how the game goes, but they find ways to win.
And I'm really glad you brought that up, because to me, it's like in the first half, it's like, oh, the offense is clunky, and everyone's like, oh, it's because Jaden wasn't playing well. Jaden actually was seeing it pretty well, but just wasn't hitting on some stuff. If the run game's cooking, you probably don't
You probably don't notice.
You probably don't notice it, right? And so when Superman can't be Superman, it really negatively affects the offense. But the other thing you said there, Fred, which I love, they won in the last play of the game. This is the 4th straight victory coming on the last play of the game, which is
Cardiac Commanders.
Mind-blowing.
Amazing.
Mind-blowing.
I think it's a skill.
It's got to be.
It is.
I think they have learned how to win no matter what the situation is.
How many times we've been in this situation as players and lost? How many times we sat here and say, if we was in that situation, it would have been an L. So when you have a knack for knowing how to finish, and that's the key word, finish. And that's something that Dan Quinn, emphasizing. You've been a player, like just to hear some of the guys, talk about what he preaches about finishing. It shows you, like, these guys understand, like, it's gonna be games where it's gonna be muddy. But we gotta find that clear spot. We gotta find our way out of it. And that's what you've seen. You've seen time and time again that somebody's stepping up to rise to the challenge to make a play.
And our quarterback is starting to get that aura of himself, like Tom Brady gets the ball the last drive. Y'all gonna lose. Like Patrick Mahomes get the ball the last drive. You're probably gonna lose. Well, Jedi 5 is starting to. If Jedi 5 get that ball, you might lose.
It's almost to the point to where you got 2 guys that feel that way. So it might be just our offense. Our offense have that aura about, hey, when we get the ball in our hands, it's time to go score.
Yeah, most definitely.
I think it's definitely something they practice, something they talk about. Like, the end of end of the game there, right? There's 23 seconds left. Understanding that you can take a shot to the middle of the field, you can get up and spike it.
Yeah.
You can take one shot to the end zone as opposed to having to kick a field goal. Like when we played the Bears, like they screwed up a lot of those situations just not knowing. And so to me, that's also a testament to Dan, like because he knows it, right?
Yeah.
Like when you talk to him, he's like that's my area of the like I handle situational football.
Special teams.
And so like for him to kind of have everybody that locked in, that aware.
Did you see the safety with his left hand up?
Left hand up. Who are we?
Doing the Marcus Mariota run.
He had his hand
And by
up.
the way,
Oh, because he thought it was a tackle for loss.
you know, Marcus Mariota could be the best ball handling quarterback in the league. Because don't
I'm
forget,
so glad you said that,
Chip
dude.
Kelly in college when he was at Oregon, they was running these RPOs.
His ball, he is. If you're a high school coach and you want to know how to run
He's
a
Tommy
zone
Frazier.
read,
I don't know if y'all ever saw Tommy Frazier back in the day.
great job.
Bro, he hides that ball.
and he hides it, and his ability to like glide it and then pull it late.
and pull it at the last minute.
A lot of quarterbacks can't do it. And then the other thing about that too, Fred, and you can tell it because he did this at Oregon a lot. You know, like they run that midline, zone read, which is instead of reading an end,
you're gonna
reading a 3 technique, and you hit it super
hard.
tight, super tight, almost downhill. And didn't it look just like that?
Listen, I was looking at the running back. Because now I'm like, damn, they just stopped us.
Yeah.
And then he just skirts out of there, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. And I seen this dude. I say, why do people keep doing this on us? Didn't they learn from the Bears game? We ain't never out of the game. So if I had to pick one play that I thought really capitalized this game, it was that play.
No,
It was a great job.
Special.
Great ball fake. And then he got so tight downhill. Like Marcus Lufau did a great job playing outside, but like
just right down here.
He got skinny, man.
But he looked his age a little bit as he ran.
But I actually thought like
Bro,
He got out of there.
That's good for what he
I
is.
thought he had some juice. Like I was like, okay.
He gave me enough juice. That's all I wanted to see from him. Get down.
What was that, a 30-yard run? That was
No, it was a 30-yard run, but it wasn't a sports car. It was more like a station wagon coming down through there.
such a hater, Fred. But yeah, so that's awesome. And obviously touchdown at the end of the game. I mean, that played it's crazy because I went back and watched it. They had a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Tried to throw the fade.
Tried to do the fade. Threw it a
Missed
little too high.
And then
too far.
Darted that thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Terry hands.
I had just said
strong
that.
hands,
Me and B. Mitch talking about the 2-point conversion, and B. Mitch was like, "You think that was a PI?" I say, "Nah." I said that ball wasn't catchable. He threw it. He put too much on it. I said, "Man, when you throwing that ball, you almost got to aim at the defensive back
of my head.
You want to throw it short enough where I can go and get it off the top of his head, off his back." And I said it was perfect, man.
Yeah.
Terry went up there and showed everybody, man. You know what? Just give me this chance, man. This is what I do.
Yeah, and so even though this game was kind of messy, this I think not culminates because we got playoffs now, but kind of just to show how special this season is. Like Washington has at least one win over Dallas, Philly, and New York. They haven't done that since 2015. So been a couple years. Washington scored 485 points this season. That's tied for second most in Washington history.
That's unbelievable.
1991.
Unbelievable.
McLaren is one of 4 wide receivers to have 75 receptions and 1,000 yards receiving in 5 of their first 6 seasons. Brandon Marshall, Torrey Holt, and Randy Moss are amongst other guys.
I was gonna say, I think Torrey Holt gets in the Hall of Fame this year. Randy already in the Hall of Fame. How you feel about Brandon
They got to
Marshall?
put some respect on his name. B. Marshall, they don't bring up his name enough. B. Marshall is one of those guys, man. He dominated the NFL when he was playing at the receiver position. So definitely got to give him some recognition.
And so just a really special season all the way around, quite honestly. And now let's talk about Dan Quinn bringing Marcus Mariota in our segment, Risk It for the Biscuit. Presented by Marsh McLennan Agency, your partner in risk and people strategies. Business insurance?
Yes.
They got you. Employee health benefits?
Got you.
They got you. Private client services? They got you there too. And a guy that had us in this game was Marcus Mariota. So kind of an interesting decision to bring Marcus in the second half. And, I think it says a lot about the team to be able to go from kind of your franchise guy. And then Marcus comes in and really not lose a beat and in some ways kind of excel. It was a really special moment.
This is when I knew Marcus was special. Not this game. It was the game before this when he got Jaden off the ground. And say, go
Atlanta,
finish, finish what you started. Listen, as good as he's played,
Yeah.
his 2 chances to play this year,
Been awesome.
impeccable.
Really
some,
awesome.
Some of the things that stand out about this staff and about everybody who has a hand in just picking these players is that we all questioned this pickup earlier in the year. Not questioning it from the standpoint of, do we believe in him as a second, a backup quarterback? But we was like, what parallels, and then you thought about it, you said, well, okay, he's a running quarterback. He probably has a little experience, with, what JD5 is going through, and then also running this offense. But what we didn't realize is that these guys trusted that this man could come in here and be that guy if Jaden wasn't that guy. You know what I mean? So when you look at the 2 games that he got a chance to come in and play in, flawless. I mean,
bold.
5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Been amazing, to say the least. So I can't speak enough about what this staff and AP has done when it comes to just hand selecting these guys, picking these guys to kind of mold who we want to be as a team. You know what I mean?
And it's a trust factor with a second string quarterback. You know this.
Yeah.
I have been on teams where the second string quarterback come in and you like everybody head go down. Damn. We ain't got a chance. But this was very Todd Collins, aka the Chief, Todd Collins coming up, baby. We got a chance to win.
We got a chance to win it, baby.
Like, so, and I know, and I'm watching the offense. When Mariota comes in, ain't no drop off.
It was a different kind of. You saw they had a different kind of pep in their step. Because when he came out there, B. Miss say, "Is that 18 in the game?"
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's what Bram said on the broadcast. It was like what?
What's going on? Hey, we sitting in the suite. We up there eating good. I'm damn near nodding off up there. He said, "That's 18 in the game." I'm like, "Where?" What you talking about, B?
Dude, Teddy, you're such an old man sometimes. Falling asleep.
Listen, this dude, they just don't got a clue.
Hey, I was tired, boss.
This dude been 70 years old for 70 years.
Hey, man.
That's so funny.
Oh, my God.
But, I mean, it really, like, to your original point, Tana, like, what I watched a lot of Marcus Mariota over the course of his career. When they signed him, I watched a lot of him. I never saw this from him. And so I don't know what it is. It's
maybe
the coaching
he's comfortable in his offense.
And we have never. That's a great point, Fred, because we've never seen him in
a spread, true spread offense.
Arthur Smith was his
offense was a run-based offense.
It's a run-based offense, under center, play action, boot, and this is him in the gun. This is him doing what he did in college.
This reminds me of him in Oregon. Like, this is what got him drafted as the number 2. That's why I always tell people, man, sometimes your NFL career ain't got a lot to do with you.
No, we all know that.
It got a lot to do with where you drafted,
who
your coaches is. Are they going to set you up for success? Why draft a guy like him and not put him in a Chip Kelly style offense?
Well, you got to say, too, also now, I think when you look at what's going on in our league, they're getting more college kind of offenses is kind of doing their thing now. Back then, everybody wanted to pigeonhole everybody to be a certain kind
pro.
of Think about it. For years, what we said about myself, being a 5'9", 5'10" receiver, they just
like that.
kept me on the outside. They never wanted to move me around until year 10. So now you look at the quarterbacks, even with RG3. RG3 probably didn't want to be a pocket passer, but that's all they talked about. You have to be a pocket passer. So eventually you're going to say to yourself, well, I got to become a pocket passer in order to be, I guess, accepted.
A pro quarterback.
Accepted in this league. So now you get a guy like Marcus Mariota to come in the league and they say, well, yeah, we saw what you did in college in Oregon. That was Oregon. Now you have to come out here and play like these guys. And so now you get him in an offense where it ain't suitable to him. And now you finally see a guy, and he's long in the tooth now, much longer in the tooth now, but he's in an offense that he's comfortable, and he's in a position where he's comfortable because he don't have to be the guy. He can be the guy that show the other guy, look, man, I've been through everything you're going through right now. Let me show you how I could have handled it
better
to have you better at what you're doing. And I think he's been the perfect guy, been the perfect mentor and the perfect backup quarterback for JD5.
It's crazy. Like when you were talking through that, it's like, think about what, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson have done for the position. I think probably the first guy is like Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? Like where people are like, man, you don't have to play it that way.
We don't have to national football this guy.
Think about what it's done for Jaden Daniels and like how it's made his transition so much easier. And again, like Marcus was kind of before those guys, and it made it hard and obviously struggled a bit. But it was so great to see him come out there, and it was so great to see him get the support. I mentioned Terry, like just the way he caught the football and made plays for him.
Oh my God,
was awesome. And
now we got to say this: OZ on that pass. from what's his name?
De'Ami
Brown. Was it because it was the left spinning ball?
So you know what's crazy? So I'm on the sideline, right, and I was standing right behind the throw.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because he was running to his left or it's because he's left-handed. But that I'm not kidding, Tanner. It like bananaed to him
Because in the end.
Because you can see. So not
it
only
like tailed away from him.
So not only did he stumble, I've been in that situation before. Not only did he stumble, it's hard to be running as fast as he was running in the angle he was running
and
to
then
catch your balance and look over your shoulder and try to correct, because the ball sneak ups on you quick.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like that ball that he dropped two weeks ago, where the ball, he didn't know how to put his hand. Then he had a defender right there, so he didn't know if the guy was going to touch it or not, and the ball snuck in there and it went right through his hands. Now this time, you saw him. He didn't know if I could do this or do this. And before you know it, he did this. He almost batted it down.
Because to me, it was like the way the ball was coming. It was like, oh yeah, this is the right one. You know what I mean? And then at the last second, it tailed like a punt. Like down and away to the left, and he tried to switch it and knocked it down, obviously. But that was, watching that ball come in, it was a beautiful throw.
I'm going to say, De'Ami laid the thing out. He had to play high school quarterback.
But the way it curved, I don't know if I've ever seen a ball, I don't know if it's because he was running like that. I don't think I've ever seen a ball do that from a throw necessarily.
I don't know. It was a special play, special throw, and he just couldn't finish it, man. I feel bad for him because I've been in them shoes where you want to make a play, and when you don't, man, it's the worst feeling.
But see, they had the confidence to come back to him later and make the play.
I was going to say, so he drops that one. He had one that Jaden put up that would have been a tough catch. But then when Marcus is in, gives him that shot. That's an explosive play. It's a 20-yard pass where he kind of mosses that dude, makes a great play. And so that was the kind of the difference between the first half and the second half. And Jay Gruden used to say this all the time, and he used to laugh because it's like, people don't want to hear this, but sometimes the difference is just you made plays in one half and you didn't make plays in the other half. And I think we've all been a part of games.
Tale of two halves.
Games like that. All right, so I think that's going to do it for our recap of the Dallas Cowboy game. And now we're off to our Tampa Bay playoff preview.
Yes, sir.
Last Washington playoff win? You want to guess?
100 years ago.
it's on the rundown. January 7th, 2006 at Tampa Bay. 17-10.
17-10.
Full circle here. Here we are.
It was a smash mouth football.
We only played two teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, Tampa and Seattle.
Like,
it's just been that way for the last 30 years. Tampa and Seattle. I don't know why. That's what it is.
That game there, bro. I left that game. Don't get me wrong. It's a famous picture that everyone posts on Instagram all the time, and it shows me, Sean, and Portis hanging out in the club. That was after that game. That was the only time we can get Sean to go somewhere with us.
Most definitely.
And he hung out after that game. And what people fail to realize, it's crazy to get him to hang out because he got kicked out of the game for doing something unlike. Well, I can't say unlike Sean because Sean was one of those guys.
He gonna cut outside the lines.
He cut outside the lines a lot, but man, he was phenomenal in that game. He scored a touchdown in that game. He's had a knack for the ball. Someone else got a interception, they fumbled it, or a turnover, and they fumbled it.
He gonna be there.
He knocked somebody in the back and just saw the ball bouncing, one hopped it, boop, and took off to the end zone.
And if he get his hand on the ball, like that's why if I was a coach, I wouldn't know if to put him on offense or defense because he was basically unstoppable once he got the ball in his hand.
Dude, I remember this is my rookie year, 2010, and I tell the story all the time. But watching, like Danny Smith was like, "This is what it means to be a Redskin at the time," and it was all Sean Taylor plays, and they were on
the kickoff win.
It was like kickoff, punt return, like no matter what, and then it was like fumble recoveries, big hits, and you were just like, "This dude's like a cartoon." And like, because I being from California, I didn't really know. But why? But like what you're talking about, it's like I'm running next to the pile, the ball pops out, I catch it one-handed, I stiff arm this dude, and I score a touchdown. You're like, God bless.
It just made it look easy. He made the pros look easy.
He did.
From the first day I watched him practice, I was like,
Like there's some dudes that are different, like Micah Parsons, we talked about being different. Like with those clips, I remember like
both of them guys can fit in the same.
I remember thinking like, there's dudes like this in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Like this is the NFL. Like, where am I measuring myself at right now in this group of guys?
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get our Tampa Bay preview started off with Getting Geeked.
Yes, presented by SeatGeek, the most disruptive idea in ticketing. A ticket that actually works. Expect the unexpected. SeatGeek.
Expect the expected.
I like that voice.
It was his reading voice.
I ain't hear that voice from Fred in a while.
Well, you know, I got that from Lamar Burton, Reading Rainbow.
You reading Rainbow?
Dude.
Come on. We had a couple of people that really taught us, our generation. Lamar Burton taught us how to read.
Come on, boys and girls.
And what's the name taught us how to paint?
Yeah, but
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross taught us how to paint.
and Mr. Rogers taught us how to have that soft voice too.
Yeah, Mr. Ross, come on in my neighborhood.
Some iconic
man.
growth people there. Like think about
Reading Rainbow.
you know,
Lamar Burton.
Mr. Rogers,
Yeah.
so ahead of his times in
Yeah.
terms of like segregation and like equal
Everything.
right, like awesome. And then Reading Rainbow, like I remember sitting down and being like, oh, what's the book going to be today?
Bro, I'm telling you.
If we did these things again,
It'd be better.
our generation would be
Yeah,
better. It was universally. Like, that's one thing we can all say to each other. Who's reading Rainbow? Everybody like Lamar Burton, because
Yeah,
we
no doubt.
identify with him as, this is my first teacher.
Yeah.
Now, I know my other teachers are there.
Special.
But he's my first teacher, and have us drawing stick man, because Bob Ross, I always wanted to myself, how did Bob Ross finish this portrait? Because Bob would be sitting there talking, stroking at the same time. By the way, watch me get the depth in this mountain right here. This guy's great.
I'm gonna use a little of this shade over here with
then
this.
he'll put his finger.
These happy trees, these happy mountains. Dude.
Oh my God.
Okay, so just like Bob Ross and Burton and Mr. Rogers were iconic for their era,
Yeah, they
the
was.
iconic people in this matchup are Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield. And so for our
Block
Get
off.
Geeked, we're going to do a little bit of a statistical comparison. I think this is very illuminating for what makes Baker Mayfield good and what makes Jaden Daniels
Hell
good.
of a year, Baker, too. I got to give him his props.
Absolutely.
got to.
So PFF grade, Jaden Daniels, 89.6, Baker Mayfield, 86. And so we're going to talk about what's the difference here. Because when you go down and you check this out and you go to big time throw percentage, Jaden Daniels, 2.97. And he's had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
But Baker Mayfield is 3.18.
Yeah.
So why is there a difference in terms of what is that?
big throw?
PFF grade.
Yeah.
Because technically, if you've got more big time throws, your percentage should be higher, right?
yeah.
They weight those grades really heavily in that metric. But then you get down to turnover worthy plays, Tana. You see that right there?
Yeah.
So 1.72 for Jaden Daniels. That's an excellent number. He's been excellent all year
Yeah.
with that. And I think that is one of the things that has really
Made him
impressed
good.
me the
Yep.
most about him is his ability to protect the football. And go to our guy Baker. What does that say right there?
3.61.
That is very, very high.
Yeah.
And so as good as Baker Mayfield has been, pushing the football down the field, we're going to talk about his completion percentage on 10-plus yard throws. The Mike Evans extending plays. He's got one of the longest times to throws in the NFL. It's like 2.75 seconds because he's extending plays, making plays on third down. He does all that stuff. He's making plays, doing a great job. He does turn the football over.
Yeah, he was a lot cleaner when Chris Godwin was playing in early in the year. So I would say the reason he has the more big play throws because he had the better set of wide receivers than Jaden Daniels did early in the year.
I'll tell you one thing, that 15, that little rookie from Washington, he's balling.
No, he's making plays.
He's balling.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No, he's making plays. But the one thing also, Baker is his biggest fan and his biggest threat.
Yeah.
Like because he's one of them guys, he can make every throw.
He's a perfect candidate for our segment we had, Risk It for the Biscuit.
Yeah, he is the biscuit.
He gonna risk it.
Yeah.
You see him out there.
But that's how he plays.
He played backyard football.
And I love that about him. And he's always been one of these guys. He's better as the underdog.
Yeah.
Like that's who he is. He's not a front runner. He's better as the underdog. And don't forget, he got Cade Otton, Bucket Irvin catching screens out the backfield, Rashad White catching passes. So he has a group down there. And don't forget about Tristan Wirth in this offensive line.
Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about the offensive line. He's had some pretty clean protection because those guys been healthy. But he's Baker Mayfield, and he will give you a chance to make plays on the ball.
I approve that message.
Yeah, 100%. And again, that's our segment, Getting Geeked, and we'll have one of those moving forward for the playoffs. But yeah, that's, I think, going to be something big to keep an eye on because Baker Mayfield does a great job. He's really, when you watch him, like their third down stuff, their first and second down efficiency versus New Orleans, for example, not great.
Yeah.
They get to third down, dude's dealing, man.
clutch.
He's
He
checking
find a way.
plays, he's doing a good job.
I mean, you guys think about it. The first game, we had him in our wraps for seven times. Only brought him down
He
once.
ran the ball with- he ran the ball with him.
He found a way to get slippery and get out of those tackles, man, and make plays down the field. So
Better athlete than you think he is. All
Yeah,
right?
and so we said we were going to talk about his throws down the field. You know, Baker Mayfield, 13 of 16 for 198 yards, a pass rating of 131.8 on 10-plus yard throws. And a lot of those come, like Tana was saying, where I break the pocket, I break out of a sack, I'm looking down,
defense breaks down.
and I'm making a play down the field. So I think in this matchup, one of the things you got to keep an eye on to corral him, keep him in the pocket. Keep him in there, right? Don't let him extend. The offensive line is actually really talented. You talked about Tristan.
The offensive line talented, but guess what? Baker is a short quarterback. If I can keep him inside of the pocket, those throws are not as clean as they used to be, because he reminds me of Drew Brees in his way. Drew Brees did a great job of not throwing over his offensive lineman. He threw in between his offensive lineman. That's what Baker does a good job. Anytime it's a 3-step quick game, he throws in between the lineman, not over the lineman, but I want to force him to throw out a muddy pocket.
Yeah, we need one of those performances that we had in Arizona. Oh my God, we need one of those performances. They kept that court. They kept
Kyler
Murray in the pocket and made sure when he got slippery and tried to get outside, those guys was right there. He was playing right into their arms.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Fred, about kind of keeping the pocket, because their tackles are playing well. Tristan Wirfs and Luke Goedeke are doing a really good job. They're the highest graded tandem, I think, outside of the Philadelphia guys. You know what I'm saying?
I could say not in Detroit.
No, yeah, these guys.
So they're playing out of their mind.
I mean, Penei Sewell's grading better than both of them, but compared to both together, both together. So it's the Eagles and then them. And so the tackles are doing a great job, and that does give him an ability to escape right and left. But I will say one of the things that sticks out to me is like Graham Burton, I think, is going to be a good player. He's their center, long time in the NFL, up and down from a pass protection standpoint. And Ben, I'm going to mess his name up. Brendanson is their right guard or left guard. He's having a tough year. So if we can get pressure internally, I think that's going to be a big deal. Because what do you say about short quarterbacks, right? They don't like that.
They don't like that interior pushback. And a shorter quarterback also don't like it muddy. He don't like if he sees his guy's last name in his face, it makes it hard for him to throw the ball.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, and so I think they're number 4 in explosive passings this year.
Doesn't shock me.
And it's crazy because their average depth of target, like down the field, is not that high. So they're doing a great job. Baker's doing a great job extending, but getting checked down. Guys are working after the catch. Screen game is totally alive for them. So it is a interesting offense to watch when you watch it on film. Because it's pretty horizontal, like very traditional West Coast. And guys are making plays. You know, like you mentioned Godwin when he was healthy, long catches off of choice routes, underneath stuff. So that's one element. The other element that we got to be really hyper aware of, I think, in this matchup is Bucky Irving. They are number 2 in explosive runs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 2 in the NFL. And think about like Saquon, Derrick Henry. So, and a big part of that is Bucky Irving, right? He was voted the most elusive running back by PFF. He's got a 90% rush grade, which is
unbelievable,
crazy. And when you watch him on first and second down, this is the thing. This is the straw that stirs the drink. He's making people miss. He's finding explosive runs, and the down to down isn't super efficient. Like when you watch Bijan, it's like 5, 6, 7, 5. 20. This guy's like 1, 2, 3, 40. You know what I'm saying? And you're just like, okay. So in terms of like the stuff we were talking about versus Dallas, where it's like
they methodically move the ball down the field.
It's not like that. It's a little bit like he's going to find a way to be explosive. And so I guess my question to you guys is, with an offense that's horizontally explosive and a running back that is finding ways in the screen game and with design runs to find big plays, like what's the formula there?
A cover 2 and cover 4. I'm gonna play cover 2 and cover 4 because I really want to stop your. If you're telling me your run game is erratic as it is, I want to force you to do that. I want to take
even though he's so explosive.
Even though he's so explosive, I want to force him to beat me because I know Mike Evans can beat people. I know Mike Evans can beat people. If I don't give you the big pass play and we keep everything in front of us, I think we got a chance to win that game.
I need to. I'm gonna go out to the football gods and pray that we can get somebody to lock down one side so I can bring that man in the box.
Someone get healthy.
I think somebody get healthy, babe. Please.
Do we know what Mike Evans stop?
Please, because
what's his number?
I honestly believe the way Chin has been playing this year.
Yes, sir.
We get him in that box and let him, bro. It was at times watching him a couple of weeks ago, and it was almost like just to say like, Carolina let both of these guys go.
What were they thinking?
Chin and that Tasmanian devil was almost on every time they was on every tackle.
We paid Lou. We paid him more than they wanted to pay him, but they let Jeremy Chin just
walk out the door.
So we ain't letting him walk from here. Lock him up, put him in a cage. But I want to see us be able to play with our safeties a little better. You know what I mean?
We want to rock and roll him.
Yeah, we have to put somebody down there because Bucky was special the first time we saw him. And he's just a rookie, you say, right? So man, to see him be be able to be elusive as he was that first game of the season, and now he done got comfortable, he done got his confidence up. You know, I've been watching. I just watched tape on that last game. I'm like, yeah, this guy here, he has the knack for the big play. So we got to have somebody up in that box.
Throw the ball to Rashad White too, the running back out the backfield. So they got and Cade Otton at tight end,
and they got the double-headed monster. You mentioned the tight end, and the other thing too is like if you think about back to the first matchup, they ran a lot of trap, like kind of what I would call long trap, where you're trapping the defensive end, running wham, really taking advantage of how aggressive they were for those explosive plays. And the other thing, and I think this next person we're going to talk about is going to be so important for this, is they run a lot of pre-snap motion. And so I look at Bobby Wagner and I say he's got to be in the book this week. He's in the book every week.
I say chess. You got to play chess with him.
But
not checkers.
But based on PFF, he's the second most effective run stopper this year. Really had a really tremendous season for where he's at in his career.
Leader. He just brought so much to the table that can't be measured. Can't be measured.
Getting all of that pre-snap stuff communicated is going to be imperative. And the question I would ask you is, if you're Tampa Bay, do you look at what the things they did well in the first game, running the ball, and say we get back to that same stuff, or do you say Washington's going to have an answer for that? Let's get to something different.
Yeah, I think you can't do what you did successfully the first game with no Chris Godwin. I think you got to have a different, because you got to say to yourself, this ain't the same Washington team we played.
We're not.
We've matured. Our quarterback has gotten better. Our offense have gotten better than it was. Defense is a better defense. And plus, we might have the one guy that's been a little kryptonite to Mike Evans. All right? So at the end of the day,
I like how no one said his name yet. It's like we're all kind of like,
because we don't know if he's playing right now, and we don't want to jinx it with the football. You know, the last time I said that, Santana cussed me out. Lord, Santana, you delivered him. Don't do that. You delivered him. Thank you.
Yeah. So the person who won't be named, hopefully he's back, because that would be just from like a football standpoint, watching those two guys
go at it.
Most good offenses though, man, they gon' hit you in the mouth again now with the same thing. They gonna see if you got
see if you figured it out.
See if you figured it out, because you know the Patriots were notorious for it. The Colts was notorious for it. Brady and Manning, they was notorious for it. Hey, let me see if you can stop this. And if you don't stop it, they will keep running it. But also they're gonna have something that looks something like what they did before.
Window dressing,
and then hit you with something else. So you just gotta be ready, man. This is one of the things I love about the playoffs. Who cares what you did in the regular season?
Don't count no more.
All that matters is today. And guess what? If I play my best today and I beat you, then that's all.
We know how intense a playoff game. It's just something about.
Told you the air different.
Man, it's like
the lights different.
It's like every mistake just. It's something about the playoffs. When I say every inch and every play counts, it's crazy.
I knew it was something about the playoffs that was different, because even early in my career, I think my first year we played in the playoffs, and I was hurt that year, but I ended up being healthy enough to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the first time I actually played in a playoff game, it was my second year with the Jets, and we played at home. We got Peyton Manning them coming in town. We beat them like 40-something to 6. When they was doing the whole flyover and the whole national anthem, I shed a tear. I was sitting there, the tears were dropping. I said, "Oh yeah, this is something different."
It wasn't that no Sean Marino. Nobody shed a tear like that.
Dude, that was like,
it just something was different about the game. You know what I mean? And I went out there, I had a touchdown that game. It was just something different about the atmosphere.
It's crazy.
That's what the playoffs do for you, man.
It is weird, because like you watch like Sirianni. Remember he cried last year, and then like no Sean Marino. Like,
listen,
bro, it brings it out you.
Yeah.
Like you,
no Sean almost drowned the stadium.
Hold on, bro. Stop.
Y'all remember him cry? Listen, when I watched that dude cry, I laughed for like 30 minutes. I'm like, what did I just see?
He was feeling big emotions.
He shared something, but it honestly brings something out you, because you really in that moment. Because like, think about it. If you don't make it out of that game, that's your
last game of the year.
Your last game, and so you want to play special. You want to be sound. You just want to enjoy where you at. You know how they say, be where your feet are.
Yeah,
that's that moment, right? I'm here today.
Yeah,
nothing else matters. You know, everybody who should be here. Everybody who's watching at home, they where they at, and I got to go out here and perform.
It's just to the edge of your seat action. It's like everything counts.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, 100%. And you mentioned coverages, and if the guy who must not be named doesn't play, we've had a guy and Mike Sanderson's done a really good job this year. Really good job this year. And I think back when I watched the film of the first game, I was like, man, he was such a young player.
Yeah.
And then now to see him making plays,
Mature.
73 tackles, 11 pass defenses, 2 interceptions. Like, he's had a tremendous year.
Best rookie corner drafted in Washington since one Fred Smith.
I knew it. I knew it.
Twist.
Ted, I made a note.
I knew it was a
that he would
twist.
talk about himself.
Best
I knew it was a
rookie
twist.
drafted since
I say this too before we get too ahead of that and talking more about Smoot. I would say this: even if we don't get what we want in the secondary, as far as the individual. This is where the coach got to say, hey, man, y'all got to put on your big boy jeans today.
Yeah.
I'm putting one of you out there.
Yeah.
Let me see what you're made of.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to do the job, coach. This is how we need to play.
And you know what's crazy? I know this guy has been up and down this year, Benjamin St. Jude.
Yeah.
He actually,
This is his matchup.
He went toe-to-toe with this
No,
dude.
he did.
And I was impressed. Like, color me impressed by it. So I do think they have options. They have answers. I do think Joe Witt Jr. has been calling great games. Really
games.
doing a great job.
I love his adjustments too.
Yeah.
Oh my, phenomenal.
So, but it's gonna be a battle for sure.
Yeah, it's the playoffs.
This is when you put on your FUBU jeans, the big baggy jeans, and you play Jello song.
Hey, listen, the hottest song out right now.
Put on that Jello and them FUBUs, baby.
Everybody right now should say LeVar Ball was right. LeVar Ball was right. All right? Jello just dropped the hottest album. I know you don't listen to rap like that.
I do listen to rap, but not like that. Apparently, is this a new song?
It's a new song
Yeah.
by LeAngelo Ball.
You're going to drop that for us,
LeAngelo
Jason.
Ball.
Is he rapping on
Jello.
it?
This is name, Jello.
Drop that thing, Jason.
Hey, listen. Swerve.
I don't want to know the song, but it's catchy. It's catchy.
Yeah. Is it worth
It reminds me
listening
of those days.
It's West Coast.
Is it?
You know he's from the West Coast.
West
Dude, I
Coast
love
mixed
West
with a
Coast
little
rap. I love
South.
West Coast
It sounds like a little New Orleans
It
in there.
sounds like you can put Baby them on that thing.
Juvenile. Yeah,
Slim, Soldier Slim, whoever. You
Oh, I got some homework to do before the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
show.
he do.
But I tell you this though, man, I just feel like, when it comes to the playoffs, man, a lot of that stuff go out the door. Whatever we was questioning about running offensively, defensively, special teams wise, it go out the door.
Yeah.
Somebody got to step up. Somebody got to rise to the challenge. And I think when we talking about defenses and stopping people, if we're comfortable in a situation, we got to put somebody out there and say, hey, bro, I need you to be
This is how you become
the
a
best
household
self.
name.
If your job depending on this tonight, this is where I need you to do it. And we have enough guys to be able to put in that moment or
Yeah.
put in that situation.
Yeah.
So
No, absolutely. And so, again, that's going to be really interesting to watch kind of, what Tampa does, to do the stuff they did from the first game, to do some new stuff. It's a really remember, fourth in explosive plays passing, second in explosive plays rushing. They find explosive plays. They do a great job. And it's interesting because when you watch their defense,
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. They're a little bit of like big play merchants.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They have, 42% blitz rate.
Yeah.
And they really ride that a lot.
Well, they have what I call a star on every level. You got Villa on the D line. You got Levante David and the rest of those linebackers. Then you got Antoine Winfield Jr. So they have a group that's been collectively playing together for years. They know each other and they trust each other.
do you expect them seeing what Jaden was able to do with his legs in the second half of that game, week 1?
Yeah.
Do you expect them to say, let's get back into more of a pass coverage,
Zone.
a coverage thing? Because remember, he was hesitant.
Yeah.
In week 1 to throw across, but now you've seen him. He
unleashed.
is slice and dice you. So I'm wondering what their game plan is going to be, because I'm sure they see all the teams that have stood up there and just send everybody.
And then it don't work.
And if you don't get him down, he can
I don't
beat
think
you
they
with his
change their
feet.
colors. I think they stick to who they are.
Yeah.
I think they see what Dallas did and say, you know what, we can blitz too. We might not have a Michael Parsons, but we can make him unsettled. Because I think what they're gonna look on their film and see is, it's kind of almost damned if I do, damned if I don't with this kid.
Yeah.
So I might as well try to make him make the quickest decision possible by blitzing people.
I think we need some wrinkles in there too. If we see anything like we saw in Dallas, man, with all those guys in line,
gotta run screen, running back screen,
I don't
tight
want to
end
see him
screen.
going through no progression, man. Guy just got to, as a receiver, we had those wrinkles, and it's crazy because I look at football now with a different lens, and I'm like, you see certain teams do it. They have hot reads already built into certain routes and stuff like that, and I be wondering at time when I see that, because I remember when we had this with RG3 at one year, and I'm in the slot telling Trent he coming. So I gave Trent a little signal, and Trent hit his hip. He letting RG know, hey man, they coming. And when I saw RG went through his progression, I'm like, my man just came out. You supposed to hit me now. You know what I mean? I'm in the slot right now. So I'm just hoping that whatever they bring and how they play us, that we have something ready for. You got to have that plan B or have that I guess you can say that answer, you know, for some of those coverages.
And again, when you look at their blitzes, I went back and watched them all yesterday, and I was just like, man, this is a really well-designed blitzing team, right? We talked about one of the looks they bring is they kind of run 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. They have 2 stand-up guys, and so most times you'll drop those guys out. You can kind of send the slide away. But I will say the defensive coordinator really does a great job of being like, oh, you're going to send the slide this way? Yeah. We have a different call. We're going to blitz the 2 stand-up guys. We're going to drop the 2 down guys. We're going to act like we're dropping these guys out and then bring them back on a blitz. And so when I was thinking like of how to kind of rule the protections on 3rd down, specifically 3rd and long, it's a lot. And when you look at 3rd down from the first game, the amount of pressure they're able to generate, the patterns they're able to bring, how they're able to get to 4-man overloads. That's all. A 4-man overload is when you have the center and you blitz 4 guys to the right or left of that. It just, there's a lot going on there.
And they was a completely healthy team when we played them in the first week. They have lost a lot of defensive backs. They are rotating back there, and I think that's going. You know, if I'm Terry and I'm OZ and I'm the rest of these guys, I'm like, let's come out. I was going to
ask that. I was going to get to that with Logan and see if he broke down what's the percentage rates of teams passing against them on 1st down compared to running.
Yeah, that'd be a good question, because they are a team like this is. I'm glad you brought this up, because this is a good point. They are a team that, like, so the Commanders, for example, they're okay with you running the ball on 1st down because they play light boxes. I think they play light boxes 57% of the time, which is 3rd highest rate in the NFL. Like, they're okay. They know you're going to run the ball.
It's okay. It's fine.
We just don't want the big play. Tampa Bay has to be the opposite of that. They are playing big personnel. They're playing their 3-4 personnel. You know, Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, Logan is the other guy. They've got 2 big outside linebackers, defense ends. They got everyone's in the box. They're like, you will not
run the ball
on us on 1st down. And basically, I think what I would do if I'm Cliff, and I'm not Cliff, but one of the things I would think about is like when they bring that big personnel on the field. Let's throw the rock.
The hell out of the ball.
Throw the rock. Those guys are great pass rushers. They're great at stopping the run. They're not great in coverage. Like, for example, versus New Orleans, they brought this beautiful pressure where they dropped, who was it, Yaya Diaby and their other outside linebacker type guy. So defensive end out. And they were right in the throwing window, and they just don't have ball skills. And so Rattler just laid it right in between the 2 of them for a 1st down. And they were like mad at each other, like hitting the ground. But they can't cover.
They can't do that.
So what I would say is if they're going to get in that big, heavy personnel, then let's keep them in there and attack the grass that those guys can't get
cover.
Now. And again, they're going to bring run pressures. They're going to make it hard. But I think that is something I would really try to exploit.
And being that they have had some troubles with that secondary lineup, they have been susceptible to the big play, both in the run game and the pass game. So it's going to be interesting, man, just to see how we handle that. Because I watch that every week from us. Like, when are we going to just come out throwing at times? Because especially now when we've had the musical chairs with our center, it's like they're waiting for that. And I think as the season went on, the teams understood that Washington is at their best when we run the ball well, you know. And when I saw things being muddy and cloudy up front, I'm like, bro, we need to come out and just gash them here and there. You know what I mean? Do something that we haven't done a lot of, because now that'll get them to play a little differently, you know. And
so for the Command Center show, our producer Ryan was like, what was different about that game compared to this game? And so I was like, I don't know, like, you know, Jane Daniels got a lot better, you know, we're not running the ball as well, all these different things. And then I was like, you know what the number one difference is Terry had 2 catches for 14 yards in that game. And when you watch the amount of explosive plays that those two, Jaden and Terry, have been able to cultivate, and we're going to break this down on the Command Center show, is night and day. If you could hit a couple explosives and get them out of these really aggressive fronts, you're going to create some air for the running game. And I think that might be, to Tana's point, like what we're looking for.
And guys like OZ has started to really come on.
Really
and
great.
So it's just more than just Terry.
All those guys.
And Zach Ertz.
And just to have him back, I think they played him well last week. Just made sure they had a nice little snap count for him. But just to have him fully, recovered and healthy, I can expect a lot of screens and some of the things that he did well in the first outing, to get back going. So
and the other thing too, when you play that kind of big personnel on first and second down, they'll do it to 11. They'll do it to like 3 wide receivers. I think Cliff's done a great job from a formation standpoint of being like, if you're not going to walk out with this bunch or walk out with these 3 receivers, let's throw a screen.
Let's
make
get
that part of it.
Yeah.
And so there are things that Cliff has done, and he's done a great job. Anthony Lynn has done to really kind of maximize that group. So I think handling their aggressive nature of Tampa Bay is going to be a big deal. How you handle the blitz on third down is going to be a huge deal. And because again, this is something that we haven't talked about a ton, but the teams that have done really well are teams that blitz, like they blitz on third down. They rush and compress the pocket in a way. And Tampa Bay doesn't do that, but I would imagine we see
they're gonna pick up on it.
Yeah, they're gonna do it.
We're going to try this, which usually people don't do that a lot with running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it's a give and a take there.
It'll be really interesting. So really, I mean, gosh, we are so excited for this matchup.
doubt.
Really so excited.
Playoffs.
All right, now time for Hell Yeah or
Hell no.
Dude, that one was so good. You guys crushed that one.
I used to be a temptation.
All right. Will Mike Evans have 100 yards receiving? And there's a person who won't be named versus Mike Evans potentially, right? Which we're going to talk about.
And that same person he's only had 100-yard game against?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that is
so
true.
I'm going to go and say, hell no.
to the no. Hell to the no.
Does it matter if this person we're talking about plays or not?
I don't, and I'm not going to just hold it solely on just one individual. I think collectively, that's one guy that we, Joe Witt probably is already circles. Like, look, man, we stop him, things get a little different, for this offense. So I think it's going to be one of those vocal points that we're going to say, hey, this is the guy we need to slow down.
We are going to stop him.
As our defense got to slow him down.
And Mike Evans isn't playing as good as he was
early in the year.
Yeah, but he's playing well. Yeah. And so I do think if you can, and again, while you think about to the Philly game, right, where this guy was healthy.
Yeah.
Like he tracked A.J. Brown the whole game.
Listen.
And it gives you some flexibility with the other guys that are healthy. So I do think that that's not a bad idea. And especially if Mike's not as good as A.J. Brown now, I think that matchup probably favors Washington, let you be more aggressive, bring pressures, do that kind of thing.
So you're going hell no?
I'm going to say hell yeah. I'm going to say hell yeah. I think I like that.
You say hell yeah, he gets the 100?
No, hell
no.
You say
hell no. Hell no. I got confused there. All right. So I talk about just things that are fun for football fans. That matchup.
Yeah.
Going to be fun.
It's going to be great.
All right. Will Jaden Daniels have 3+ explosive plays?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah?
Hell yeah. Yeah. 1 with his legs, 2 with his arm. Yeah. At least.
If they get 3 explosives,
game.
Probably win the game.
Thousands. Yes.
Yeah. Hell, yes, yeah.
Yes. I believe he get them plays just off of just who he is, not going out trying to do too much. Yeah. Just playing inside of the game plan, playing the plays. His how he reacts to things, automatic gonna get him 3 big plays again. Yeah. I'm sorry. He's just there.
I don't know about this specifically, and I'm gonna say I'm leaning hell yeah. Because I just watching him in that Atlanta game. I was like, this dude is a dog. Mm-hmm. When it's time to compete, when it's time to win a game, he's going to put it out there for you.
And y'all forgot, it's prime time. Not only is it a playoff game, it's at night, Sunday night.
Jedi 5, may the force be with you.
So I'm going to say hell yeah. He just seems to get better in big moments. Mm-hmm. And I think it doesn't get much bigger than this.
Don't get bigger than this.
So I'm excited to watch it.
Don't get bigger than this.
This is a good one because this has been the case the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Will this come down to the last play of the game? This game?
I'm going to say hell no.
Okay.
Because I got confidence we're going to get the running game going. And if we get the running game going, games don't be close. They don't be close. Now, if the running game is not going, it will come down to the last game. I am betting on B-Rob, the rest of the running backs, to show up and control the game. So, hell no.
Respectfully, I have to give credit when it's due, and Tampa's coming in hot. They're playing at home. Yeah. That stadium going to be a madhouse.
Do you not think our fans going to take over the stadium again?
They will be there, but that stadium's going to be a madhouse.
They're going to be so juiced.
So I have to give them credit for what they have shown, and I think it's going to be one of those games.
So you see the last play?
It's coming down to the last play, baby. Hell yeah.
As much as I would prefer it not.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want it to, but I just think
at least I gave y'all a reason why I said it wouldn't be.
We thrive in those moments.
I like it.
Give me another one.
That's good analysis. So if they do run the football, I think it's going to bode bode well. But I think it's going to be hell yeah. It's going to come down to the last play of the game, and hopefully we have the football, and hopefully Jedi 5 does his thing and gets the win, and then we have 5 consecutive games.
As long as Cliff Kingsbury, aka Master Yoda, is over there calling those plays the right way, we'll be all right.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So gosh,
You can tell his mom and them tried to kick him out the house. You know, him and Sonora probably jumping all over the ground.
Oh goodness gracious, Fred, are you going down to the game?
Shut up.
Oh, sorry.
That's what they do. That's what they do. They leave me on the weekend. I'm going to be in a blizzard. These guys going to be down there with their shirt off in Tampa.
It's what y'all don't understand. It's best to leave him because he might not show up to it. You leave him behind.
It's for his own well-being, actually.
It's for his own health?
Yeah, own health. All right. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for watching and listening. And obviously, if you like and subscribe, that helps us out.
Yep.
Good money for us.
Playoff
so please
show.
help us out. Playoff show. And we are ecstatic and can't wait to see you on the other side. That's it.